Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the European LCS semi-finals. I'm Lee D-Man-Smith. Alongside me is Trevor Quickshot Henry. And we are heading into the second series where Alliance will square off against SK Gaming. Not too sure how we're going to follow that last best of 5, but we'll see how it goes because, well, it has been a fantastic summer split so far for Alliance. They've dominated everyone, taking 3 wins off every single team. They are by far the clear favorites coming into this series.
I completely agree. Alliance this summer have been the undoubtable strongest team in Europe. They've got the second highest overall KDA, taken the second most Dragons. They've got the most Barons. They had the title of being the only European team in LCS history to start the split in first place after Super Week and finish the split in first place, maintaining control over 11 weeks. No other European team has been that stable in the 2 years we've been running.
Yeah, absolute domination from them. On the other side, well, SK Gaming, they swept their way into the semi-finals, crushing Millennium in that quarter-final matchup. They won out of the laning phase and grouped together well to control the pace of the games, often taking down the first inhibitor within 25 minutes. But SK Gaming definitely have two different, very different levels of play as they demonstrated during the summer.
Yes,
they had a losing streak and a win streak.
They did. I mean, the team ended 15-13. It's about a 50-50 win ratio. And if you contrast the stats and the levels in their wins versus their losses, it is night and day. SK Gaming have been the team that wards the least out of all European squads. They also really struggle with Baron calls, almost like Dignitas. SK Gaming, as a team, though, have looked much better since week 11. So they're going to need to draw from that stronger level of play, the same level that they had in the quarterfinals, if they even want to remotely challenge Alliance.
We'll see how this one works out, because it is time to start looking at the players. Let's start out in the top lane between Wickd and Freddy. Both of these have had their highlights this split. For Wickd, of course, he's had some great Shyvana plays, and surprisingly Lulu as well. While Freddy, on the other hand, he had some dominating Aatrox matches, and he's now progressed to Nidalee as well, which I feel could well be one of the main bans in this game.
I completely agree with you. Freddy's Nidalee's been fantastic. Luckily, he's looking much more comfortable than Wickd. Wickd needed a new chair, so maybe the stress is getting to it. Maybe the stress is getting to him. Right, next in line, it is going to be Shook versus Svenskeren in the jungle. This is going to actually be a very aggressive battle between two junglers who love to invade. They love to do battle in the early stages of the game. Shook's got a higher kill percentage, but I'm more impressed by the fact that he's placed over 120 wards more than Sven in the same number of games. So those vision wards that Shook is placing down make his invade safer and smarter, which is something that could hurt Svenskeren in the series.
We'll see how it works out. Of course, next up is the Battle of the Danes in the mid lane between the all-star winning captain, Froggen, and the new upstart, Jesiz. Froggen is MVP for a lot of people this season and has been capitalizing his team Alliance at the top of the table, captaining his way through the season. While Jesiz, well, he's been gaining more and more confidence as the season has progressed.
Yeah, and I'm more impressed at the champion diversity. He is playing a wider variety. Now, next in line is going to be the battle of the AD carries. It's going to be an interesting one because Tabzz has been one of the most consistent and impressive AD carries all split long. But you cannot say the same for CandyPanda. I do want to once again preface this. In recent weeks, Candy stepped up, and he'll need to be playing at the Super Week and quarterfinal level to challenge Tabzz.
And of course, finally alongside them, well, they are the supports. And while underrated by some, Nyph has been performing well for the last 4 seasons, which is, of course, why he's holding a position on this all-star team in Alliance. His opposition, nRated, well, he's been around just as long, since Season 1, so this is very much a battle of experience.
Yeah, going to be very, very tough. I think it's fair to say that on paper, when you look at these rosters, you just feel like Alliance has got the strongest squad in terms of player for player. But SK Gaming have proven they do have great teamwork. They're very smart in picks and ban strategy, and they took down Alliance in week 11. They have beaten them, so we need to see if SA can dig deep and overcome the difficulties here against Alliance.
Well, it was their only victory, remember. It's going to be a tricky one. So, SK Gaming, well, they've had their hands full dealing with Alliance this summer. Will their preparation for this match change their look, or will they fall to their first place opponents?
SK has always been a team that is really good at punishing mistakes. We know what they like to play and they have no clue about us, so we have the advantage.
Felt really good winning against Alliance last time. because it's always really hard to beat Alliance for us. I think we're pretty good in shape right now, but I still think we need to play better to beat Alliance.
To me, SK seems like the little brother team where they have the same thought process, they try to do the same as us, but they're just weaker mechanically, so we often come out on top.
Personally, I really want to beat them because I know that they trash talk us a lot over the split, so it'd be really great to beat them, not just to qualify for Worlds, but to get our pride back.
Historically, we have a really good winning percentage against SK and even managed to get them to surrender 20 minutes once.
I don't even want to think about not going to Worlds, because right now all we're doing is practicing and putting our heart and all efforts we possibly can in every single minute of our free time to improve ourselves as a team and go to Worlds.
Make no mistake, SK Gaming are hungry for a victory in this one. You know, while they're coming into it as underdogs, we just saw Rockout while they were underdogs. They absolutely turned up to win.
Yeah, I completely agree. The preparation Rockout brought to the table was fantastic. You have to feel SK Gaming may even be able to do more because they've demonstrated a higher level of play for a longer period of time. Despite the rocky patches in summer, they still are a fantastic squad.
Well, let's see how you guys at home have voted for this series to play out. According to LOLesports.com, 78% of you think that Alliance are the ones who will move on to the finals against Fnatic. We will find out as the game will be getting underway in a moment. Pick and bans, important time, important start for both these teams.
So you've definitely hit the nail on the head in terms of the top lane. I think the Nidalee is going to be an interesting one. I do wonder what Wickd's going to do. He's been a player that has traditionally not picked up champions at the fastest rate. Gragas was one of his go-to champions before the summer split ended, and it is no longer viable in the top lane. Has he learned Maokai? Has he learned Alistar? Hell, is he playing Swain? We've heard whispers through the grapevine that maybe he's playing it. We'll see to what level, because again, if you look at Alliance, you kind of feel if you're going to look for a weak link or somewhere to punish, Wickd in his champion pool could be it.
And let's talk about the AD carriers, because they've kind of been a focus for the last few ones. It's been like a Tristan, a Cogmore back and forth. Are we going to see some bans towards that?
I really don't know, because you haven't seen Alliance on this patch. You know, Alliance had the luxury of watching all three of SK's games. CandyPanda played Cogmore twice against Millennium, and then he played Tristana in the third game. And he smashed with all three performances, really, really showing up. Tabzz has got a wide champion pool, and it just depends what strategy these teams are going to go for. Rockout-focused mid lane bans, what are these guys going to do?
Well, remember, Tabzz used to be an ex-mid lane champion, high mechanic skill. We'll see if it works out for him in this matchup. So, bans coming through. There is the Nidalee ban. First ban out. Freddy not going to get his hands on that one. Oriana taken away from Jesiz, taking him out of his comfort zone. And SK Gaming very much focusing on the mid lane man, Froggen, Kassadin and Twisted Fate.
So, Maokai's still up. Alistar's still up. Syndra's available. Ahri is still available for Jesiz. And I was praising his Ahri play during the end of the regular weeks, but I was a little less impressed over the quarterfinals. So we need to see what route Jesiz is going to go, and there's the AD carry ban you were talking about.
Yeah, that to me signals that I think is going to be a Tristana first pick. But if Maokai is open, it's going to throw Alliance a curveball, I think, for this pick and ban.
I completely agree. Maokai or Tristana, if you leave both of them up, you have the option of taking one away, but SK Gaming have not decided to do that. We've seen first pick Nami's coming out of some of the other teams, which caught Deficio off guard earlier today, and Nami's definitely risen in prominence along with Morgana in that support role. A lot of time left on the clock, but Wicked's thinking about it.
Yeah, this is a consideration. It could be for Nyph as well, but it seems that it will be Wickd that will lock in the cow. We'll see if he plays that in the top lane. We'll see if he picked it up, of course. We saw a lot of that in the last match. Jesiz himself played it very well in the quarterfinals and in the last match against Fnatic.
So, just to put some thoughts on the table, Morgana's available, Zillion's available. These are champions that SK ran in the quarterfinals. Ilyas, if they want to go that route. Tristana, if they want to deny that from Tabzz. There are a lot of potential picks for SK, and the question is, what are they most comfortable running? Because we're still not 100% sure where this Alistar will go. Alliance not being seen on the competitive stage in this patch, they have that versatility in their pick to decide where they want to put it.
Well, looks like Freddy will fall back on Aatrox. It's currently hovered over. Has worked very well in the semi-final series, and it seems they're going to leave the AD carry open. They want Svenskeren to be covered off. He is a big part of this team. His ganks generally set the pace for SK Gaming. And predominantly throughout the whole season, SK have been slower in the lane phase. They've been weaker in the early lane. It's late game they get going. It's why we kind of call them the mini Alliance, because Alliance do the same, except they do well in lane phase.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a fair assessment. But I think it's also important to note that against Millennium in the quarterfinals, SK stepped up. They were winning the laning phase. They were, you know, taking control, not dominating.
Against Millennium.
But that's the question now. Was it SK performing very well as that made the gap seem so strong? Or were they legitimately just playing better? And this is going to be a true test because they are going up against some of the most talented players in all of Europe. But look how slow teams are locking in champions. Really, really taking their time.
It tells me that the pick and bans may have threw a few of their options off. Ari is locked in here. And I think that means they're going to try and put Jesiz on the back foot. Ziggs is available. This is a possibility for him.
As a Zillion. If they wanted to go that route, Zillion revives. If you want to put Aatrox down, if you want to lock in the likes of something like Payne or Tristana, as we've been talking about multiple times. So for Tabzz, does he run Lucian? Does he feel confident in a mid-game power spike, or does he want to go hyper carry, or does he want to go pick? I mean, there's a lot of options here for Tabzz, and he's played all of those champions at varying stages this year.
So for supports, everything open. What will Nyph go with? We've seen Nami coming into as the priority support, honestly. While Thresh, while Morgana is out there, a lot of people still go with Morgana, of course, alongside Twitch, it is going to be a Nami again.
Yeah, Alliance actually locking in their respective champions in order. So we've got a very heavy pick-focused team comp. Alistar will struggle a little bit in lane, but he will do very well later in the team fights. And if Alliance can land a charm or a bubble, Lee Sin, Twitch, and Ari's damage can just focus that person down. And if you actually look at SK's squad, there's 3 very squishy targets there. Aatrox himself, while he's got a revive, he's not necessarily the most tanky champion in the game. So there's a lot of damage on Alliance's side. They've got the option to roam, play the map, play the pick game that I think we're going to anticipate from them. And I just think it's going to be very important for Alliance to get ahead in the early stages, because in terms of wave clear, Ziggs will be doing a better job than what Ari can, thanks to the mines, thanks to the extended range.
And with Braum being selected, how strange that both teams have actually gone through top jungle.
I'd love to find out.
AD and support.
I don't remember this happening. Yeah. No, it really isn't. And it is just a buck from the norm, but it doesn't really make a massive difference. With the lock-in of Braum, the combination of the AoE from Ziggs as well as Aatrox, if Alliance ever are grouped up and Nyph doesn't land a good tidal wave, I think SK Gaming have got a stronger team fight presence. The only thing they need to ensure is that they need to keep Ziggs and Tristana alive and at range. Because the moment Twitch, Ari, Lee, even Alistar single them out, I think those are going to be a bunch of dead squishies. So it is very important to note.
I think we're rubbing off on the teams. I just saw Alliance fist bumping.
Why not? I read a fantastic study.
It's hygienic. I know.
You stole my word, D-Man.
We came up with that internally before they came out as a
well, it's scientifically
proven. I'll just tell you that right. We're first on that one. So, have these champion picks made you want to swap your vote? Well, we'll see. Tweet us #AllWin or #SKWin, and we'll see if there are any changes as we head into the game. Big first match. We just saw previously, of course, Roccat coming out huge in game 1, upsetting Fnatic massively. Can SK do the same?
I think it's going to be up to Alliance to try to determine this lane swap scenario. I feel like Aatrox should be able to bully Alistar in the early stages of the game, and I think that Tristana and Braum are going to need levels before they can duel Twitch and Nami. I think the harass and the poke from Twitch in conjunction with Nami's damage is going to be difficult to deal with. So whichever lane can get a stronger advantage may determine control in the mid game.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to get game 1 underway, the second semi-finals. Fnatic, they have made it to the 2014 World Championships. Who will join them? Will it be Alliance or SK Gaming? And who will face Roccat tomorrow in that frightful 3rd place playoff to see the final team selected? Alliance, big favorites coming into this matchup, up against SK Gaming, who themselves, well, they topped the season, remember, in the spring. They didn't win the final stage, they finished 2nd overall. And Alliance stole that glory from them this time around and led all the way through the season at the top of the table. In Trevor, it looks like we are going to have a full 5-man late invade. Will they catch on to Nyph?
Oh, we'll see. There's a bubble or a knockup potential, and we need to see what lands. Bubble's going out. Flash from Freddy. That's actually very important, because Shook now has a massive, massive target on Freddy's back. We need to see if he can punish him. If Shook does the clear, gets double buffs and goes for the 3.5, 4-minute gank, maybe they can look to get Freddy's passive or similar.
Well, of course, does have that dive to get away. Dark Flight should be okay-ish. We'll see whether Shook does sit up there and try and babysit Wickd. He is, in the past, helped out Froggen and Tabzz heavily and left Wickd kind of on his own.
I really like what Alliance has done regarding their warding. They placed all the trinkets up along through the jungle, going to be looking for those lane setups, going to be looking for the ideal situation for them. It is somewhat mirrored by SK Gaming, though not quite as many wards. And I know I'm going to sound like a little bit of a broken record, but for SK Gaming, they have bought and placed the second lowest amount of wards out of all European teams. And the reason I highlight that in this particular game is how important I feel it's going to be to defend against Froggen and Tabzz roaming, as well as Shook looking for ganks. If SK drop the ball and do not react appropriately with vision, Alliance have got a very, very good team composition to punish that. And Freddy with no flash is already very low on HP.
Well, Freddy, as you mentioned, low on HP. He's got also 2 members just below him. This could be a 4-man dive on towards him. Wickd and Shook taking the red buff. They're just around the side. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we do also have Svenskeren nearby, but looks like he's heading straight to his blue, so he's going to be going the traditional route. It's the top lane. I want to see whether they're going to go for this tower dive. And remember, if they do, so often we've seen with this tactic, people pile on towards that dragon. SK have the option to do that. We'll see whether Alliance react and whether they go for this kill.
I tell you what this reminds me of. This is like a Fnatic level 2 tower dive. We do see Freddy backing away. He's got no flash, remember. CC needs to land.
Oh, Aqua Prison does land. That's all they needed. Bloodwell will get popped here. Pulverize still yet to be used by Wickd. He's holding on to it, and he will get himself a kill with it.
That is massive. So Alliance get first blood. I think SK respond in a fantastic manner by punishing the positional and the numbers of Alliance's members in the top lane, going to grab themselves this dragon and probably even out that gold difference. What I'd like to see is how much damage Alliance have put in that top tower. It doesn't look like Shook or Wickd stuck around to punish it. Tabzz is in fact trying to deny experiencing gold from his opponent's top laner. So trying to push Freddy even further behind.
So dragon goes down. SK take that one to begin with. Just 3.5 minutes into this game. Jesiz and Froggen in this mid lane. Battle of the Danes. So not too much love lost between the two. I can assure you of that one. Froggen himself, captain of the All-Stars. Can he captain his actual team to the World Championships? It's why it was created. It was the whole reason, way back when, in October, that this all began.
I really like Alliance's thought process. I think they were anticipating Freddy was going to return to lane just to try CS, and Alliance were grouping up to potentially do a second tower dive, punish the fact that that flash was not available. But Freddy was one step ahead. Along with the rest of his team, they'd already initiated the lane swap, and Freddy teleported down. That's actually quite unusual for your top laner at the 4-minute mark. But CandyPanda and nRated, whether they feel confident in the 2v2 or whether they're just trying to keep Freddy alive, we'll see as this head-to-head plays out. But I really like the thought process and forward thinking from both of the teams.
So we haven't seen a great deal of involvement in the mid lane. They're both going back to buy, I believe. So this top lane focus. CandyPanda will get a couple of hits on there. It's just been a little bit safer. Tabzz not going to go too aggressive. Good Aqua Prison from Nyph actually catching on CandyPanda. But he put some good damage on this tower earlier.
Yeah, Nyph has actually landed a lot of crucial Aqua Prisons this game already. The very first one burning the flash from Freddy and then obviously catching him later on. But if you look at the CS advantage, Tabzz at that very big wave is pulling slightly ahead of CandyPanda, but because of the wave, they can't go aggressive.
You guys at home still strongly believing that Alliance will take victory here. They are, as we mentioned, the undisputed favourites in this one. 81%, big vote for them. Alliance fans getting behind them.
So in terms of the mid lane, I think until Jesiz gets a little out of position, Froggen's not going to have a massive amount of kill pressure. Jesiz can farm very safely. He's got the satchel charge, and as long as he doesn't eat that charm, he should be fine. And with the number of games Jesiz has played, it'll work out very well in his favor.
So Svenskeren just passed a ward in the top area, which is why Shook is immediately heading down here. There is a ward, he's going to get spotted, but he's going straight for Freddy. Wickd not going to go too aggressive on this one. He stood right on top of that ward. Freddy well aware. Has got flashback available to him as well.
Yeah, we'll see if this can work out. Headbutt pulverizer works. Here comes Shook.
Flash pulverize. Didn't land the headbutt. And Freddy will not get away with that. Let's tell a lie. I think he did the combo and flashed. Yeah,
yes,
he did
it
everything.
was. Yeah, headbutt, pulverize, flash, and Freddy was able to get away thanks to the Dark Flight himself. But I mean, Freddy's got so many games on Aatrox. He played 8 matches during the regular season, and he's got a lot of experience. But look at this. Freddy Shook's coming around for a second attempt. The pulverize caught him mid-air.
Oh, this is a problem. He's got no Dark Flight to get out. Flash is available, but where's he going to go with it? Remember, there's no also Bloodwell available. Freddy and also Trauma trying to use the minions, trying to get alive still. Flashes away. Shook's got to land the Sonic Wave. He has to land it here. He's got the support. Svenskeren flashes it himself. Dodges out of the Dark Flight, and Freddy looks to have escaped.
Holy moly. Freddy managed to delay the fight for so long using the minions, darting in and out and sustaining, thanks to his bloodthirst, that he actually got his passive back mid-team fight. And that is why Alliance backed away. Shook thought he could pop it and maybe get the kill, but that's a flash down. Wickd and Shook expended both of their flashes trying to kill Freddy, and they need to be a little bit careful with positioning.
Yeah, crazy fight. Let's have a look at it again.
So the moment that little white bar, oh, Aatrox went all inverted. Did like a barrel roll mid-air. But you'll see it turn from white to red, and that's instantly meaning that Freddy's got his passive available. But look, the two melee champions of Shook and Wickd, they can't get through the wall of minions. Why, minions, why? And Freddy did such a good job of using the tools around him to actually survive that gank. That was super cool. That's a big play for sure.
Big plays. Something we've been seeing all season long from these teams. We'll see how it progresses at the moment, Alliance. Well, they have the smallest of advantages. They are equal in gold, though. We'll see. This top lane, actually, is an interesting one. Tabzz and Nyph. Probably one that should be putting a little bit more pressure. CandyPanda's reacting, and we may well see an invade here. Shook going up, but the red buff already gone. They had a ward on it. Tabzz managed to plant that one, so they had full vision. Shook's going to back away. Blue buff for Froggen.
So I'd like to expand on that thought of Tabzz and Nyph. I do feel that if they'd had the 2v2 earlier, that Twitch and Nami could have bullied Tristana and Braum, obviously because Braum is melee. But once Braum has his full complement, his spell reel available to him at level 3, if nRated gets a good combo where he can sort of dash to the minion, land the concussive blows, and start getting that stun down, all of a sudden the burst from Tristana is actually quite powerful in the early game. So that could be where the slower pace comes from. Both level 6, Freddy, he's used Massacre actually.
Yeah, he used his ultimate there. Dark Flight and ultimate. Wickd just walked away. Didn't pop his own. Unbreakable is still available. Svenskeren coming back around. This is going to be a tower dive. That's a risky tower dive on a cow that has his ultimate.
Yeah, we'll see if Freddy can bait it out. That's obviously going to be the go signal. For the time being, Sven has not really made an indication of tower dive. He's just counter jungling. And I do agree. I think this will be very risky. The fact that that Unbreakable Wall is still available, this is going to be difficult. Let's see if Sven and Freddy can pull it off. Freddy does have Bloodwell as well.
Well, he's going to have long enough to hold out. Cocoon doesn't land. Shook comes in there. He's going to get pulverized the second he lands. No, didn't go for it. Happy to just farm it out. nRated, good block there, using his Unbreakable to stop the wave. And that will not catch on towards CandyPanda. Froggen goes aggressive, throws his orbs towards Jesiz. Jesiz very low there, but Spirit Rush used by Froggen.
Yeah, I'm going to just try and get some lane control. It hasn't resulted in a kill yet. Look for the charm, if he can catch onto Sven. Sven, no spiderlings!
Flash charm lands on towards him. He's going to get Shook coming in, but they're going to have to back away. They're in a 3v1. Oh, good catch there. Jesiz managed to catch on towards him. The kick from Shook. He fancies following it. Jesiz very low. Mega Inferno Bomb still available for him, and he will back away.
So close. If any of those skill shots had just been a hair to the left or right, that could have been another kill on the board. But Jesiz manages to get away. Svenskeren throws in support, but Summoner spells blown for both Svenskeren and Jesiz. Froggen without flash, without ignite. Even on CS as well. And Jesiz continuing just to sort of keep control of that middle lane, thanks to the Mega Inferno Bomb. But SK holding even. 10 minutes in, they initiated a lane swap, they responded to Alliance's tower dive, and they're even on gold, thanks to that very smart dragon play.
Yeah,
which is not something you can often say about SK.
Even across all lanes, which is potentially a problem for Alliance, because SK are always fantastic when they reach the late game. But then again, so are Alliance. These are both teams, and Froggen has said it to myself many, many times when he's been talking about fights. It's like, you always talk about, you know, how we're slow and how we get going. You never mention that all we're doing is just waiting to hit that one point, that one power spike, and then we turn and fight. Everybody goes aggressive.
Yeah, and we'll see if they've hit that point. Tabzz looking for Freddy, and Freddy's just going to take a short flight out. The one thing Alliance have to be, I think the only massive concern for Alliance is how well CandyPanda is going to play the mid to late game. Because once Tristana hits that level 12, 13, 14, like starts getting to max range, she can really put a lot of hurt down. So Dragon's been up for a little while. SK have got better positioning for the moment. Tabzz is away from the team. And remember, straight up 5v5s. If Alliance do not assassinate somebody very quickly, I think SK are going to have a better team fight comp for those scenarios.
Build Draw to Cut is still on cooldown, whereas CandyPanda has picked himself up a BF sword, which is why Alliance maybe going to try and delay it, hold out as long as they can and push in, but they're losing the bottom tower while it's still happening. Jesiz getting focused on by Wickd. He's trying to force him away. That means it's going to be the middle turret, it seems, for Alliance, while the bottom turret goes to SK.
Yeah, but Alliance will keep pushing. They've got the numbers advantage and they've got a minion wave. How quickly can Jesiz clear the wave? It should be fairly fast. He is a Ziggs at the end of the day. Traded one tower for one, and that's a teleport as well.
Shook's going to try and land it, so the charm goes in. Mega Inferno Bomb lands on top of them, but Jesiz will go down. The question is, will Freddy catch on towards them? He won't, but you know, while that's all happened, they got themselves a kill, yes. They got the inner turret, yes, but they lost the dragon and the bottom turret.
Yeah, net gain is in favor of SK, unless Alliance can take that top tower, which they actually will. And then they've got a very big minion wave to push with. That is actually a massive minion wave. They can keep playing. The question is, does SK want to race? They've got Tristana in the bottom lane. They've got a 3-man stack in the middle lane. Who is going to call the bluff? Who is going to call chicken first? Alliance are not stopped, it's actually Alliance that are doing it.
Yeah, Wicked chose to defend the bottom turret instead. He's like realizing he cannot defend 3 members in that mid lane. He's going to go down and try and hold CandyPanda off that one. They're going to give up this outer turret, it seems. There is Wicked going in towards CandyPanda. He's just going to clear out the wave, trample across them. SK will pick up this mid lane, and a risky game for both these teams so far. Nobody wanting to blink there.
Overall, still net gain for SK. They get themselves 2 towers out the deal, but they also get a dragon. The cost of the dragon was Jez's life, but it means SK has got a small advantage. It is 1,000 gold. It's nothing to write home about at 13 minutes. But what is important to note is Alliance are making aggressive calls. We're going to push middle, we're going to push deep, push top. And SK have not blinked. They have committed to tower pushes, and they've not given up objectives without trading evenly at the very least. So smart calls from SK, and they're not panicking under the pressure, under the lights of Gamescom.
So Infinity Edge being built up by CandyPanda, not quite yet. Also, of course, Tabzz going for that assassin build, trying to see if he can get his roaming on, get that Blade of the Rune King completed ASAP, and see if he can find some targets. Big wave clear, honestly, from both these teams as well, so that's not part of the game. Obviously, if you think back to the Roccat Fnatic game, that was a big part of the issue for Roccat in the end. But SK are maneuvering very well in this opening match.
Yeah, they really are. And I actually think with the accelerated tower kills that we've just had, I think this plays into SK's favor a little bit. If SK are almost forced to remain grouped and remain tightly knit as a unit, the power of Ziggs and Braum and Aatrox, if they get multi-man abilities, is like infinitely more effective. If the laning phase had been extended and been longer, it would have opened SK up to be picked off, you know, by the tower dives, by the roaming Ahri, by the roaming Twitch. So as long as SK do not get caught out of position, this could be potentially good for them. Froggen's looking like he's going DFG first. I mean, he really wants to just insta-give someone. And if he doesn't, I really like SK's chances in fights.
Well, Wickd is going towards the AP build, AP tanky build. Oh, Freddy popped his ulti actually on Wickd there. He's just going to use that to farm out the wave. Wickd happy to walk away. But yeah, Rod of Ages start for him, going the impact route. I think it's safe to say we can call it that. And he started it off on the cow in the top lane, as opposed to Infinity Edge, Static Shiv, something like that in the top lane, Trinity Force.
Yeah, the Emperor Palpatine build, if you get that Static Shiv on there. The thing that I really like about the current state of the competitive scene, you see these champions in the same roles in different regions, against different compositions, and you have the option to build them differently. With Wickd going the Rod of Ages route, he may have slightly higher burst once he gets more AP. But look at the positioning on the map. Alliance are pushing middle lane. There is a response down to the bottom. So I think they've read the situation well, despite the fact that SK, I don't really think they gave up too much information through the jungle.
Yeah, they almost got caught out.
Froggen wants to come from behind.
We're waiting around. There's the wave. That's going to get blocked out by nRated. Aqua Prison's flashed away from. That means the support's flash is down. Froggen comes around the side, spotted by the pink ward of SK. He's waiting deliberately. Going to get caught out with a cocoon. The charm lands on Svenskeren. It's enough to get away. nRated tries to slow them down in their tracks. Alliance will be stopped. And SK back away nicely. Good reactions from SK to get out of that situation as 5 members of Alliance tried to close in on there.
I'm going to go a step back and actually say that SK shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. Not 2 minutes ago did we just say the power of Alliance's composition is in those skirmishes, looking for picks. And Braum's ultimate saved their lives. Because of that Glacial Fissure, the rest of Alliance couldn't chase. Wickd didn't have flash, so we couldn't get the flash cowball stun set up. But SK were pushing with the 3-man. They only had 3 wards in the south of Alliance's jungle. So they didn't really know until it was too late that they were being collapsed upon. The vision game is lacking for SK. They need to step up the wards, especially if they want to push with a small contingent of players.
Of course, that all started with Wickd heading down safe. Rubber Ducky being used by Jesiz clears out the raids, keeps that farm going, actually ahead of Froggen, but only because Froggen's been moving around the map. Speaking of moving, Wickd is back in towards the top lane. Use the teleport to get up there as well, so he's got himself that Rod of Ages now. We'll see where he builds next on this one, whether it be towards that Glacial Shroud, which I'm expecting. It's kind of the standard second build, I think it is for Alistair.
Yeah, I think that would kind of make sense if he went for the maybe Frozen Heart, but I don't know why my gut is saying maybe even the Glacial Fist, Iceborne Gauntlet rather.
Yeah.
Because there's not a massive amount of CC on the side of Alliance. Yes, they do have a charm, they do have a bubble, but if you can add some AoE slows from an Alistair that's going to be in the middle of a team fight, you know, he can help contain and help reduce the mobility of SK's comp, because they do have, you know, a lot of dashing and displacement spells. So we need to see what Wickd decides, and I mean, that could just be a sheen to Trinity Force if you wanted to.
So speaking of Wickd, he did teleport to that top lane, remember, and Dragon is now up. Freddy has his teleport, Wickd does not. Shook's going to get caught out. Oh, Cocoon. Dodged, sidestepped without even knowing him. Actually, there was a ward right on top of them, but I don't think he was quite planning on sidestepping. Let's keep your eye on Wickd. He is heading down here now. Froggen is ready and waiting, but there is good vision from SK around the Dragon Pit area. Yeah, they have placed some wards down, but it's instantly cleared away. 3 sweepers on the side of Alliance, as well as some very good pink wards. If you look at the pink ward in the middle river and the SK red buff, those two have been there for several minutes already. Alliance has had a lot of good vision for a prolonged period of time. Freddy's still in the top lane, Froggen pushing the mid lane. SK Gaming have yet to start the Dragon, but now they're very, very close. And the bubble's caught Sven. Sven's in trouble. He's going to repel away. There's the teleport. Freddy's not able to take down the top turret. Shook looking to try and land that kick. Catches 3 of them out. Svenskeren was caught in that knockup. Mega Inferno Bomb coming out. Only going to catch on towards Nyph and Wickd. He's happy to take that up. Shook taking a hell of a lot of damage. Froggen comes around the side. Lands the charm on towards Freddy. Good. Aqua Prison coming out. Freddy will catch on towards him. He gets the Bloodwell pops. Wickd picks up 1. Sorry. Froggen gets onto those the second. Jesiz with the bouncy bombs though. Can he turn this one around? Will get charmed up. Going to continue chasing. Froggen dodges out of the cocoon, but Jesiz is continuing to catch on towards him. Another bouncy bomb lands. Will he be able to repel himself in there? No, he's going to get slowed down. But this will open up the Dragon for SK. Yeah, we'll see if Alliance decides to re-engage. It's not over yet. That double bubble caused so much trouble for SK. And here comes another one. Jez has been knocked up. Wickd in trouble. He goes down, and the Dragon picked up by SK. They are taking a lot from these fights, and Alliance, they were the one that engaged, and they were the one that was found wanting. So the things that I want to highlight about the fight, CandyPanda was off on the side lane. So as Alliance were channeling in to the jungle through the river, Candy had a lot of free time to get auto attacks off. Then of course, when Froggen came in from the back line, Alliance was sort of quasi-retreating. They'd taken a lot more damage than they were anticipating, and Froggen wasn't able to really have the support he needed. So 2 things to note. Look at CandyPanda's positioning. He doesn't take a lot of damage for a while, and as he keeps himself in a safe zone, continually smashing Shook's out of the fight. Now Froggen is coming in from the back line. Great bubble from Nyph. I really, really like that play. But again, CandyPanda, that's the first time that you really feel, oh, he's at threat of going down. Unfortunately for Alliance,
because they were in, out, in, out, in, out, they couldn't stick to a single target long enough, they couldn't assassinate anybody. And the assassin sort of pick comp versus an extended teamfight comp, SK are always going to win that.
SK clever at sticking together. Dragon was picked up. Wickd came in eventually, remember. But it's always, I mean, a 4v1. Wickd going in. I'm not too sure what he was planning there.
Yeah, I wonder if there wasn't a little bit of miscommunication because NIF did throw a bubble out. You know, if the bubble had caught somebody and they could stack those knockups together, maybe that would have gone better. But it really is, it's a weakness of Alliance's team comp. Straight up 5v5s, even in that disjointed, weird angle, they need to kill somebody quickly. And if they don't kill somebody quickly, SK's got a lot of tools, a lot of mobility, a lot of AoE that allows them to control Alliance. So SK maintain a lead in the game. They've extended the gold lead to 3,000.
Yeah, and it's a big lead that Freddy is actually gaining over Wickd. Once again, that Aatrox proving to be his #1 champion alongside Nidalee.
So we go back to pre-game. We talked about Freddy and Nidalee, how important it is. We talked about Wickd and how learning new champions, not really something you associate with him. Wicked's not the guy that you go, oh, he's going to pull out something super special. You know, that's more of Soaz's thing. And his AP cow thus far, not been particularly impressive. Previous engages, not really working out. But again, it is a champion that scales. It is a champion that wants to be in the thick of things. Let's see if he gets a couple more items, if it does turn the tide.
Shook's going to try and sneak down here again. We talked about lack of vision for SK. They've only got a singular ward. He's going to spot Shook. He's actually going to walk past it. He could have snuck around the back of them towards the tri-bush. Aqua Prison doesn't land. Nyph takes a couple of hits there. Now Shook finally appears. CandyPanda quick to escape. While this is all happening, the pressure continuing to build in the top, in the bottom. Jesiz having to use the Zhonya's there. The charm would have landed on Froggen from Froggen there. Instead, simple bubble and backs off.
So look at SK. This is the second time that they've had Aatrox top, Jesiz mid, and the other 3 bottom lane. But again, you highlighted the vision, the fact that SK were fairly overextended, and they did not really have the information, but they could see multiple champions. You know, they knew Wickd was dueling Freddy, they knew Froggen was dueling Jesiz. Anyways, SK have grouped up in the middle lane. They don't have many minions to deal with. Kind of a weird situation to be in. Dragon's not up yet. They just couldn't get onto the bottom turret. Jesiz is struggling against Froggen. So this could be support to buy some time for Jesiz.
Yeah, it seems that being caught out there with his Zhonya's down. It's a risky situation for Jesiz to be in. And they do react. Mega Inferno bomb used to clear the wave. So that will be down for a short period of time while the 2 top lanes continue to farm. Froggen is building up towards a death cap, I believe. But this bottom tower, they need to get this one down. It's causing them problems. This is where SK are happy to just keep pushing because they've got that safety net of this tower still standing.
Yeah, they do. And you know, something that you need to remember on the side of SK, despite the fact they've got a Ziggs and Tristana who are traditionally fantastic in tower sieges, they have to deal with the threat of a tidal wave. All right, we'll see if they can catch Jesiz. We'll finish that point in a second. Knock up from Wickd. Can it land?
No. Flash trying to get on towards him. Not going to work out. And actually, a rubber ducky thrown out. Total blind onto Tabzz there. Didn't know he was there. He was stealthed up. But he caught him.
Managed to knock him away. And every time SK stick themselves in this 1-1-3 push or individual, there is the possibility of a pick happening. But again, just to finish the siege point, part of the reason I feel SK need to be wary or careful, if they do group up, if they do push down as a 5-man in a lane, where a tidal wave can land, where an Alistair can get a pulverize, that's going to buy time for Alliance to kill the targets that they want to kill. So I think that might be one of the primary reasons why they haven't just gone, look, we're going to 5v5 you straight up, despite the fact we've got a good teamfight team. They don't want to run the risk of going for a surf and then drowning.
Well, 1 minute on the Dragon, and currently Alliance was sitting on a lot of gold. That's why they're all backing off to buy those items, starting to stack them out. Death cap completed. Avarice Blade also going to get picked up. It seems Age of the Legion also completed by Shook. So, starting to acquire some of those big items. Trinity Force is going to be 2nd item, by the way, for Wickd. So, Rod of Ages into Trinity Force. Trying to adapt the build and see how it works out for him.
I mean, that's basically like hybrid now, if you think about it. You've got ability power, you've got HP, you've got attack damage, you're going to get crit chance eventually. So, Wicked's going to be sort of a jack of all trades. Master of none necessarily. He's still behind in CS to Freddy. And with a death cap as well as DFG, with a near Ghost Blade on Tabzz, Alliance have hit that power spike where I feel they need to, or they can challenge more frequently. We'll see if they agree. Dragon's up in a couple of seconds, and we find ourselves in a similar scenario. Top laners, both with teleport available, and a 4v4 in the mid to river. SK haven't started the objective or moved towards it yet.
Vision protection. Jesiz actually forced to jump away. Splash is still down, remember, if this fight were to go off. The Spirit Rush being used by Froggen does not do a great deal with it, so that ultimate's not available. Charm doesn't land either. That's on the cooldown now. And Alliance not landing their skill shots. They're going to have to step away.
No, and the longer the extended siege goes off, the poke from Ziggs is just going to whittle away on Alliance. Alliance don't have that same level of ranged poke. So SK have started Dragon. Brown ultimate is available. There's no ultimate from Froggen. Keep that in mind. Wickd has to get a good initiation here if Alliance want to do well.
Tabzz' Rat-a-tat-tat is down. He's not been able to use it here. Alliance have to back out of this fight. They should not have taken it in the first place. And SK Gaming could come out very big here. Freddy gets on one, takes down Nyph, jumps on towards it. Bloodwell's still available, remember. Tabzz is going to try and sneak away from this one. Froggen gets picked off. CandyPanda takes him down. And Alliance ultimates were not available in that fight. They should not have taken the risk.
No, they did not want to look for the 5v5. They didn't want to deal with the ranged poke. And on top of that, Wickd actually helped Freddy by headbutting him over the wall so he could keep auto-attacking. SK have set themselves up a death bush. If Alliance go to peak Baron, this could cause trouble. CandyPanda is going to play bait. Oh, he's actually playing a lot of bait. Here comes SK.
I'm going to try and catch on towards him, and we'll get the slow on towards Wickd. He's in trouble. Ultimate not available. Froggen's going to get going. Can he get the burst? He gets CandyPanda down. Wickd goes in. 3-man pulverized, but there's not a lot of follow-up. Wickd's going to go down. He's going to be the sacrificial cow. Instead, Alliance now back with Tabzz. Rat-a-tat-tat is back available.
That's actually very, very good for Alliance. Not only because they got another kill for Froggen, but because they prevented Baron going down. And, you know, at the replay at Dragon, Wickd, he just doesn't get an opportunity. nRated is zoning him, is sort of gets the stun down thanks to the help of CandyPanda. And of course, because Alistair can't be in the front line, Alliance are in full retreats. Froggen's got no Spirit Rush. There's the knock over the wall from Freddy. And you've also got Shook on the sidelines. He's trying to play Dragon Stealer, which I guess is a decent attempt. But if the rest of your team is trying to fight, you need to be with your team. You know, because Alliance don't have that massive team fight power. They need the knock away from Shook's Lee Sin. SK grow the lead even more, and I think they're handling their team comp and their opponents very, very well.
Yeah, they managed to, I think, get something out of nothing there with CandyPanda being killed for Alliance, honestly. That was a little bit lucky of them, because if they'd have come out behind in that fight, absolutely could have been a Baron for SK, or even worse, maybe they just pushed down and taken an in, but who knows, that middle run was building their way. So Alliance, risky situations. Jesiz himself has flashback available to him, and that is big because he has been focused a number of times. Froggen catching on towards him. Flash is not up for CandyPanda, so he's going to be careful. Froggen will be looking to assassinate him.
So despite the fact that Jesiz, yes, has been sort of punished and playing on the back foot, he's not behind in CS. He's only given up one death. So yes, he's been playing defensively, but you know, all credit, got his Hourglass completed, got that Athenes. He's got the wave clear, and he's defended the inner turrets in the middle lane. Alliance have yet to take the outer turret in the bottom lane, while SK have yet to take the outer turret in the top lane. It has all been about these dragons for SK Gaming, and Alliance still looking for that power spike that says, now we can go in.
Well, SK have got themselves positional advantage to try and push on this turret. Don't think they're going to be able to follow through. Wickd in this top lane, all on his own at the moment. Cocoon sidesteps Svenskeren. Sonic Wave catches on Jesiz. Aqua Prison not landing. Skill shots all going wide so far. Alliance looking to chase, but again, finding nothing. Wickd and Freddy, just going at it in this top lane. Triforce was complete, but then again, Spirit Visage and Play the Rune King. Play the Rune King was used, by the way, in that last engage, so I think we'll see Freddy probably backing off soon.
As with both of their ultimates, Freddy and Wickd really went toe-to-toe. It does look like Wicked's doing a better job of fighting Freddy, though, so we'll keep an eye on how that transpires, but now SK feel confident. They've grouped themselves up. Tidal Wave is available for Nyph, but I think without the front line of Alistair, maybe that's why SK are playing Brave. It's taken them 30 minutes to even consider a siege. And the wave clear from Alliance is still solid enough, and they couldn't even get any auto attacks on the turrets.
I think the worry for SK is while they are doing good, they're grouped right now, you've got to feel that at some point in the game, Tabzz or Froggen is going to pick off either Jesiz or CandyPanda. They're going to find that kill, that one pick that they've been searching for. One of those skill shots will land, and that is when SK may well find themselves in trouble. They're going to take this top turret, they're going to go 3-2 up, and that's going to continue their gold lead. It is a 5,000 gold lead. That is not too bad, honestly, this early on, because SK are predominantly the team to fall behind, but 30 minutes in, they're looking strong.
Yep, much like the quarterfinals.
Oh, here we go.
It's not domination, but we do see SK out of position.
Backing away.
Alliance couldn't respond quickly enough. You know, the thing is, SK have actually got all of the tools to avoid giving up those kills. I do agree with you that yes, Alliance, if they land the skill shots, if they land the bubble or the charm, or Tabzz surprises somebody with that ambush, they can just instantly kill someone. But Svenskeren can repel. There's a satchel charge from Jesiz, rocket jump from CandyPanda, nRated if there's minions or teammates around, he can jump to them. Freddy can move as well. So it's a single target spell on the side of Alliance. And unless they all fire of it fairly simultaneously, you actually think SK have tools to deal with it. The question is, who's going to make the bigger mistake? You know, is SK going to fail to dodge the skill shot? Is Alliance going to overcommit to looking for the kills? And as it stands, Alliance have already overcommitted once, you know, after that previous Dragon fight.
It's funny, you look at Alistair and you think, well, it's pretty similar to Malphite, and sure as hell Wickd used to enjoy playing that one as well. So it's a champion that I guess fits him well, which is why he's moved on towards it. We'll see whether he sticks to it. Blue Wolf picked up by Jesiz, and now SK looking to make a play. 30 seconds until that dragon is shook. May well be captured here. Cocoon dodged out of, had to quickly ward and safeguard away to avoid the damage.
Once again, warding, very lax, I think, from both of these teams. If you compare that to the Fnatic Roccat series from earlier, there were so many more wards at the 32-minute mark. The game is a lot slower paced, I would say, though, because there is only 2 towers to 3. But Dragon is up once more. Alliance have decided they're in the mood to fight once again. They have their ultimates, and Wickd is stronger with Trinity Force and the Chain Vest. But again, in order for Alliance to win, they have to kill somebody instantly. If they do not kill a threat, SK can win yet another team fight. Dragon's going down, and I think they're going to start this very, very soon, D-Man.
Well, I think Alliance is going to be too slow to engage. Instead, they're going to try and turn it around. There's the ultimate pop from Wickd. Will he land anything? Charm goes on towards nRated. Mega Inferno Bomb was fired off, but Grain, not a great deal of damage from Alliance. The headbutt Freddy away, but he lands on Shook and tries to turn him down with some more basic attacks. Everybody backing out. Good damage coming out from Froggen now. But again, Alliance being poked from range, and SK happy to kite them. They're going to back away from this one, it seems. Oh, Nyph almost taken down. They return back to the Dragon. Tricky, tricky stuff for SK here.
Alliance did back away, but it's not over yet. SK still looking for blood.
nRated very low this time around. I'm not too sure he's going to be able to guard anymore. Wickd actually went back and teleported back into the fight. He comes around. He's just poking off there. Catch on towards Svenskeren. He manages to land the smite on towards it. And now Wickd in trouble. He needs the assistance of his teammates, but he's not going to get it. He will go down. Freddy gets himself a kill. And it's another win for SK. CandyPanda not done yet. Flash engage on towards Shook. Has to jump towards Nyph and gets away safely. But again, a dragon and a kill. SK continue their gold lead.
A dragon, a kill, and they get Wicked's teleport as well as rough idea on his timing. The one thing that did happen, Alliance minions did take down that bottom tower, so Alliance actually, you know, playing the map fairly well in terms of minion wave management. But SK are just showing once again that front line of Freddy and Braum is so tanky, and they provide so much CC. The damage dealers of Alliance cannot get to the back line. They cannot catch Sven, Jesiz, or CandyPanda. And as that fight progressed, Alliance did a very good job of kiting backwards. They pulled SK towards them, put a lot of damage down on SK. But once again, the mobility and the range of SK just simply outfought them in the team fight. So they got the Dragon. They managed to continue to maintain control. And that kill that we were talking about that Alliance is looking for, they've yet to find it cleanly.
Yeah, it's nRated doing a great job of just blocking his face checking in front of that charm every time he comes out from Froggen. Happy to stand in the way and block all of the damage, and probably quite frustrating. It may well even force a ban, who knows, in towards the next match. Braum has been banned many, many times before. So SK grouping up, and now can they begin to start the bait for Baron? Froggen, oh, actually gets spotted. There is a ward there, it will get swept and cleared. Almost walked into 4 members of SK.
I think SK have stepped up their vision game in the last few minutes. They do have more wards in the entry to their jungles, which is quite smart. It's going to reduce the risk of being caught out. Oh, Candy's in trouble.
Oh, Candy is in very much trouble. He's going to use the buster shot. Oh, it's not going to get away though. Tabzz does manage to pick him off. Can they do anything with it? That is the big AD carry going down. They're going to try and push the mid turret.
Now look at the rest of SK. Freddy is pushing the top lane. Alliance have remained themselves grouped in the middle. tidal wave for dispersion, but Alliance had to invest a lot to get that kill. How many objectives can they secure?
nRated caught out, Aqua Prison, there's the Mega Inferno bomb, the tower goes down. But Freddy, as you mentioned, taking the pop turret instead. That's going to be Wickd going down. And this is all turning around against them. Shook tries to get away, flashes out of there. He runs for Froggen, but Freddy is still pushing. They're going to pursue all the way to base.
They trade 1 kill for 1 as well as tower for tower, but Freddy, he's got the Massacre down and he's going to take an inhibitor turret. The rest of SK are continuing the siege. They're going to barrel down that middle lane. SK, once again, with a better decision making. Alliance had to invest everything into just killing CandyPanda. Spirit Rush, Flash, Ignite from Tabzz as well as Froggen. And yes, they did kill him and get a tower, but then Wickd and Shook, they're reading from a completely different playbook from the rest of the Alliance squad. They go for some form of tower dive, give up another kill, and lose the inner and inhibitor turret top lane.
Oh, Jesiz caught out, the charm lands. Zhonya's Hourglass used. Everybody rushes to his rescue. Tabzz is going to try and catch on. There's the flash going down. Spirit Rush, just one last shot available. Will catch on towards him. Svenskeren is going to repel. Has to get away from that one. He will get away safely. Froggen once again gets the kill, but nothing can be taken from this for Alliance.
No, they can't. They don't have the forces really to deal with this, and they do have Wickd alive. Teleport will be up in a few seconds. Froggen has gone into full carry mode. The last few kills have been completely solo, almost to the disregard of his team. Svenskeren is alive. He's running from base. The rest of SK are there. There is a knockup from Freddy. There's no Glacial Fissure from Braum. Keep that in mind. This is going to be very, very risky if Alliance stick around.
Combo didn't land from Wickd, instead just headbutts Freddy away. Freddy, Dark Flight on towards Froggen. Froggen taken so low from this one. Can he get away? Aqua Prison was good from Nyph. It will be enough to stop him. The Dark Passage is not going to be available to him. Freddy's going to get caught out. Will go down. But have they got the damage? Freddy putting so much back on towards him. nRated running for his life at the moment. SK trailing back on there, but Jesiz will be back in 2 seconds, and Alliance again simply gets a kill for nothing.
The moment Alliance get a kill, that is when their comp has the advantage. They can single out targets, but it takes a very long time to kill Freddy. If you notice the amount of focus all of Alliance members had to put on just to get Freddy down, CandyPanda was enraged to get some auto attacks, but the risk of the rest of the team jumping on him means he has to play so defensively. He didn't have that zone control and bouncing bombs from Ziggs. So Candy's in a lot more threat. I think Alliance, they managed to get a kill, but it hasn't really swung the gold. SK still have a 6k gold lead, and if SK continue to go back to the previous style of play, they can maintain control and grasp of the game.
I think a few choice words maybe coming out of Tabzz in that last fight, as well as Wickd decided to headbutt nRated. So when a Braum's headbutted on towards you and can basic attack stun you, I don't think that's really what you want as an AD carry. Some of those headbutts have been questionable.
At least twice this game, we've seen Wickd's headbutts to the detriment of his team. All right, Death Bush is up. Freddy's not with the team, but he does have teleport. Look at the Alliance vision in the jungle of SK. If any SK members come through there, they can see it clearly.
Tabzz is making it blatantly obvious as he stood around the back there on top of a ward. The rest of Alliance hanging around. SK ready and waiting to engage it. They're looking to go. nRated, will he be the man that goes in the front there? They're just trying to poke them off. Jesiz throwing those bouncing bombs out. Minion wave has been cleared, and SK could just shove this straight for the inner turret.
SK's minion wave should push towards Alliance in the bottom lane. Alliance's minion wave should push towards SK in the top lane. But Alliance, they're looking for a fight. Alliance are trying to pull SK towards them. This is actually quite smart. If Alliance can make SK in and out, in and out, in and out, the moment an opportunity presents itself for a charm or a bubble, Alliance have to seize it. If they hesitate and allow SK to engage, they are the ones that will be on the losing end of another team fight.
But while everything is delayed, CandyPanda goes away and solos down the dragon, which is going to give the rest of SK another gold advantage, continuing their gold march. That will go down soon. CandyPanda will clear that one out, and every single dragon is going the way of SK so far. You really are doing a great job of controlling the objectives.
SK are very, very lucky. They don't have many wards on the map, but Tabzz was stood right on top of a ward a few moments ago. So that was a safe dragon. They knew that Tabzz was still around because they had a ward in the bush just there that has been cleared out, and one to the left. And again, smart play. SK called Alliance's bluff. They had the information to work with, but SK really needs to step up their warding game. If Alliance had been in a different location, it would have forced SK to do something much riskier.
So minions taking down the inner turret in the top lane for Alliance. That squares things up, 5-5 apiece. But of course, the 6-for-6 dragons that SK have is giving them a big advantage. CandyPanda caught out once again here. Tabzz goes deep on this one. Freddy, no Bloodwell this time around. It will get taken down. The big, tanky top laner is down. That's a big problem for SK. Spirit Rush comes out. Froggen goes for it. It's nRated that will tank up all of the damage, blocking everything the Alliance could throw at them. Wicked still not with them. This is still a 4-for-4 in the mid lane.
But he's got teleports available. nRated is still feeling confident. The Glacial Fissure is up. If SK can kite back with the Brow multi and the minefield from Jesiz, they may be able to do something. Oh, but another chomp catch is nRated.
This time around, I'm not sure he can block all the damage. He's going to do what he can. But again, manages to step away and nRated is gone home scot-free. Remember, there's still no ultimate for Tabzz, no ultimate for Froggen. They really want to try and start something off, but I don't think they want to risk it. They're so scared of that Mega Inferno Bomb and Svenskeren repelling in there.
Yeah, and you have to highlight the fact CandyPanda used his Buster Shot a moment or two ago. I think Wickd jumped onto him. So there's that knockaway that's not available. SK have to stick around at the risk of losing Baron, but they've lost a lot of HP. Sven's got no mana, and Froggen wants to blow someone up.
Charm lands on towards Svenskeren. He takes the burst damage. nRated tries to block it. There's the teleport. Freddy back in there. He's going to Dark Flight in, but the Baron's already been picked up. Mega Inferno Bomb. Him taking so low. Svenskeren's going to lock on towards him. He will drop down. Froggen turns around, pops on towards the next one. Dark Flight comes out of Freddy, locks on towards Froggen, takes a lot of the damage down. Finds Svenskeren, back gives himself the double. CandyPanda's going to pursue, wants to look on towards him. Shook has to jump away. Jesiz is following through, but Froggen, he's going to get away very, very low. Or is he?
I don't think he will. They're chasing this minion wave.
Got another jump. Tabzz steps down. CandyPanda stealth his way down there. Froggen blocked up with the mines. Still alive. Gets the jump down. Freddy in trouble. In comes Shook. That's the safeguard. Freddy will finally drop down. Tabzz comes in now. He's chasing on towards him. Bloodwell back up. Freddy's going to come around here. Can Jesiz manage to live here? Sonya's hourglass. I don't think he gives a Skype. He will put the mines down. One more shot. Tabzz gets on towards him. The Baron was picked up over all of that. Kills going back and forward. What a crazy game this is turning into.
Alliance need to keep Tabzz alive, and the reason that Alliance won this engage is because it turned into a multitude of skirmishes. Every single member of SK was going in drips and drabs. That's a 3 versus 2. Now all of a sudden, Froggen gets away, picks up a kill, and the moment SK begin dispersing and being pulled apart, they are at risk of being picked off. SK needed their full complement of players. They didn't have them available. Tabzz is just going to blow CandyPanda up. I mean, that's 3 auto attacks, I think that was, with spray and pray down. And it's just cleanup duty. So Tabzz has got the damage. When Alliance find the opportunity that works for them, that's when they can win the fights. SK have been, I think they've been like strung out. Because as this game has progressed, they're making positional mistakes, they're getting pulled apart, and that's when Alliance is winning.
So, Alliance hanging on, skirmishing the way through, now with the Baron. Only on 2 members, I feel. I think it's only on Tabzz and Shook that are all remaining. Will they do anything with it? Remember, still both 5 towers apiece, and still 5,000 gold to the good for SK Gaming. Blue Bomb is going to get picked up by Froggen.
Eventually.
Waiting for his cooldown.
I think for Alliance, every time they've actually picked the fight, they've had minions in their favor. I mean, the minions took that top inner turret during the course of that sort of build-up to Baron. Earlier in the game, during a dragon fight, Alliance minions took a tower in the bottom lane. Look at the very big minion wave that's building up in the bottom lane, and all of a sudden, Alliance are playing aggressive. All of a sudden, Alliance are moving through SK's jungle, which, by the way, has 0 SK wards, 2 of them in the blue side, but they don't have a lot of information to work with.
Well, it's a 1-4 split push. You can see the middle being pressured by Alliance. The top wave will also push, I think, in Alliance's favor. Looks like it. And Alliance holding on. But there's a Ziggs on SK's team. That is always a tricky thing to push against. You can split push all you like, but that Mega Inferno Bomb will wipe out the wave. Good catch on Froggen. Delays some damage on there, but the rest of Alliance will rotate around again. Minions cleared out very, very easily by SK. Wickd's going to have to tank this up if he wants to take some hits on that tower.
Yeah, he's got a lot of armor though, thanks to the Frozen Heart, and I also like the fact that he's gone for the Captain Boots. Captain Boots are so good in both aggressive and defensive play. If Wickd is retreating and he's in front of his team, he increases their retreat speed. And obviously, the same is on the reverse. If he goes for the tower dive, it allows Alliance to be mobile. I mean, Froggen picked up Paralyzed Crystal Scepter as his 3rd item. If he gets some magic damage on a target, it's going to slow them. And it just keeps playing into this style that Alliance want to do. They want to find the single targets and solo them out. For SK to... I actually think for SK to regain control of the game, They need to force Alliance to group and then just out-team fight them. They've done it a bunch of times. Now the risks are a little greater because Alliance have a much higher item threshold and a lot more, combat statistics.
Yeah, I feel a lot of it will be to do with CandyPanda or Tabzz. And remember, CandyPanda now almost at max range on that Tristana. We've seen Tristana's going huge all tournament long. Also in the international wildcard, Holy Phoenix playing incredible Tristana. Very aggressive at that as well. SK, still no Bloodwell backup for Freddy. That's coming up soon. But of course, Guardian Angels was completed by him, so he's got himself a second life now because the Bloodwell has just kicked in.
Dragon's up once more. We see the same Dragon setup. And Alliance, they're much more aggressive in looking for picks. You see Tabzz there throwing down the ambush. You almost felt that Shook wanted to follow that Sonic wave onto Freddy. But with a GA and a Bloodwell and Herandian's Omen, it's going to be very, very difficult. Alliance, for the first time in a very long time, have got better positioning to start Dragon, but they've caught nRated.
nRated takes a lot of damage before he's able to get that Unbreakable down, finally responds with it. Top wave is pushing in Alliance's favor. SK gonna have to deal with something here. They're going towards it. Dragon being picked up by Alliance. Bloodwell is still available for Freddy, but he's gonna get singled out here. Wickd finally gets his ultimate off, and SK, they are focusing on him. Goes in, pulverizes, headbutts, nRated into his team. Freddy's Bloodwell goes down. Guardian Angels actually, sorry, he's gonna get popped. Aqua Prison too soon. Froggen now goes on towards him. There's a second death on towards him. He's going to get focused. Shook trying to do what he can in amongst the team, but he gets picked off. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of SK, but the Dragon went to Alliance.
It's so, so difficult. Freddy's front line, despite the fact that his GA and his Bloodwell was popped, that was technically a 2-for-4 if you count those 2 deaths in there. 2-for-3 rather if you count his 2 deaths. But SK Gaming out-team fought. They didn't even get the Glacial Fissure from nRated down. Good charm, but I'm not sure if they've got the damage to kill. Tristana's on the tower, and SK again extending their lead. They win the team fight. They're going to get another tower.
That's the inhibitor tower. That's the one they wanted, and Freddy was the one that was the single target. Tabzz tried to jump on towards him. Froggen and Nyph doing what they could on that jungler, but they weren't able to do it.
I'm just going to go back to what we said earlier. In order for SK to regain control, force Alliance to group and then punish them when they're grouped. And that's exactly what Alliance did. I think what SK did, I think Alliance actually team fought very, very well. Tabzz was able to get that GA from Freddy almost exclusively before the fight had even broken out. And nRated was so stun-locked and CC'd, he never got his ultimate off. But look at CandyPanda and Jesiz. They are on the back line. They hadn't been touched until after a GA and a Bloodwell had been popped from Freddy, and Wickd had been killed. CandyPanda and Jesiz are still untouched. The team fight protection from SK is worlds better than Alliance's.
Alliance, they keep trying to find those targets. Baron up in 10 seconds time. Alliance going to have to protect their ping wards. SK are moving in, and they're going to sweep out everything in there. So it's going to be a 2-for-2 in and around there. nRated and Svenskeren alongside Shook. Shook will land that Sonic Wave, but the ping wards are gone. Investment cleared out. And that means Wickd, who was pushing that bottom wave, is making his way straight up here. Teleport is available, but see if he can try and sneak something out of that bush.
So again, vision lacking for both of these teams. Not a massive amount of wards. We did see SK throwing down a huge number around Baron. Tabzz with GA playing more aggressively, but he did have the support of his whole team behind him. So I think we're going to start the Baron dance, team, man. Cue the tango music. Get your boogie shoes on. Or your wellies. I mean, it is in the river after all. And we'll see which team calls chicken. If Alliance goes toe-to-toe 5v5 with SK, surely by now they've learned they're losing the team fights. So I'd like to see Alliance maybe flank. I'd like to see Wickd maybe come from behind if he can. Do something a little different to split up and string out SK. That's how Alliance can win a fight.
Well, they've got to clear the wards out to start with. That's what the Burigi begins with. Shook trying to blow out that Branch's Veil of Jesiz, which is going to protect him from the charms. And he knows that he is
SK
the
are
target.
split.
Trying to split them. nRated not with them for once this time around. CandyPanda leaps back in, and they have to back away. Alliance continue to gain vision, but remember, that inhibitor is wide open in the mid lane. SK could easily just turn and run straight for their base.
It is. SK, Alliance needs to get more wards, and then again, they need to use the vision to surround SK Gaming. If SK decide to peel for inhib, it almost guarantees a team fight. And if I were them, I would say go for it. They've won so many of the fights. but it's not going to be the case because Alliance has forced him to go for Baron. Sven's eaten the charm.
Sven's taking a lot of damage. nRated also caught out by the Aqua Prison. Alliance tried to quickly solo out. Nyph pops the wave, catches onto 3-4 members of SK. Now they're going to run it. Charm lands on towards it. It's nRated again. He will get burst down. Mega Inferno Bomb lands. Freddy wants to get involved, but again, no Blood Veil, no Guardian Angels available for him. While Froggen, he's got his GA up now. He's going to run in towards it. It's a 1-for-0. Lot of spells burned by both sides.
And that was the power of Tidal Wave. The moment SK do group, if multi... Oh, they've got Sven!
Oh, Sven's caught out on the Charm. The Aqua Prison didn't follow up, actually. The Charm didn't quite read it. And Wickd does pop his ultimate this time. He's going to step away. Froggen wants to keep fighting.
Gonna be able to survive, but there's minions pushing onto that inhibitor turret. Look at the minions for Alliance in both top and bottom lane. Whenever Alliance go for objectives, they're doing such a good job of using the map to their advantage. SK cannot go to commit to Baron without losing a lot of hit points on their respective towers. But during the course of the team fight, ooh, Nyph won that, or Nyph made that setup possible by catching 3 members of SK. nRated tried to flash away from the tidal wave and still got knocked up. But SK, whenever they're playing defensive, whenever they're peeling and they're on the back foot, Alliance seem to be doing a good job. So Baron started once more. SK once again splits up. Bloodwell is available.
Oh, Freddy. Bloodwell just comes off cooldown, as you mentioned. Has the Dark Flight out of there. There's a way pushing in the top lane. Alliance start the Baron off once again. Froggen on defensive duties. CandyPanda trying to leap around the side. Repel used. That's on a big cooldown now for Svenskeren. He's going to have to flash in if he wants to go for this one. Smite is available between the two of them. Who will win the Smite fight? Will they manage to catch on towards there? No, they won't. Shook gets it down. Wickd goes in, runs interference. He's just blocking them off. Flashes out. Alliance take Baron.
Now we'll see who gets up. CandyPanda is caught out. This is massive advantage for Alliance.
CandyPanda down. The AD carry is a big, big target. nRated pops a great ultimate, actually slowing down 4-5 members of Alliance. But they're going to keep on chasing. Manages to get the Unbreakable down, but Alliance, will they keep pushing? Wickd desperately. Crowd controlled so slow, it's going to be painful for him. But they're going to move for the inhibitor.
SK Gaming completely messed up that Baron by once again splitting up. They did not need to do that. Jesiz and CandyPanda were in the river. Now, without an AD carry, Alliance, they're on the turrets.
Svenskeren repels. He's got nowhere to land this time around. Will they catch him out as he lands? Oh, the damage not quite enough. Wickd goes in, gets a pulverized. Kick goes on to Freddy. Back into the team, but he's got everything back available to him. Dark Flight, way, the inhibitor turret will go down. Now they're falling towards the inhibitor. So the first inhibitor of the game will eventually go down to Alliance, despite SK being the one that opened the base. Can they tank this out?
They can. There's so much armor on Wickd. It's actually Shook it's tanking it at this time round. 5 versus 4, and SK, they've initiated.
They're piling on. Froggen's the focus. He's got a GA. He's going to come back out of that one. Spirit rushes away. Throws out the damage. Jesiz is the focus. Charm does not quite land on towards him. Foxfire will get in towards him. Flashes onto Jesiz. Jesiz gets the Zonya's hourglass. Froggen needs the defense of his team. The inhibitor turret goes down. They're going to catch on towards him. Froggen's still alive. Jumping in away. It's going to be nRated going down. Freddy will get focused. Jesiz getting poked down. Freddy pops back up. Can he get out of this one? Froggen's going to finally get picked up. SK trying to turn it back on his head. They've got the damage, and Alliance will back away.
Candy.
But he's going to try and jump on towards him. The inhibitor is going to be focused on CandyPanda jumping away from this one. Jez is in trouble. There is minions pushing up the midway. There is minions coming along the top. Alliance, they have the advantage now in their hands. They will step off to base. They've got gigantic amounts of gold. 3K plus on many people.
Everybody died, but everybody had a revive. So they just drop under the tower on this very aggressive tower dive. Alliance, realizing they had a 5 versus 4, means that they can continue to just focus the targets of SK appropriately. Froggen went so hard onto Jesiz. He dove way deep, but he managed to zone him away, force him away while the rest of Alliance was focusing down the tower and obviously the remaining SK Gaming members. Very good usage of the Baron buff and the mispositioning mistake from CandyPanda in the Baron, in the river. And that's meant Alliance has completely turned this game on its head, and now they are the ones dictating the tempo.
So, gold advantage finally in Alliance's favor. 8-7 in turrets. Let's not forget, Alliance's base is still wide open. If they lose one big fight, SK can run down and finish this game. When at the 55-minute mark, still, either team can take this.
Yeah, and as long as Alliance are patient, they can reduce that risk. Wait for those super minions to get into SK's base, and then it's them determining when the fights happen. It's them determining the tempo of the game. But for Alliance, they're finally going to grab the dragon. Second one of the game of 8. They really have not had any control, any real presence around the pit. SK, they're pulling a Fnatic. Death Bush is set up. Can they kill Alliance? They're going in.
They're going in, but Wicked's the target. Pops his ultimate straight away. The wave comes out from Nyph, and that's a quick disengage. And now Alliance, they can turn this fight on his head. nRated caught off the side, taking all of the damage. Shook goes in. They want to finish him off. The support goes down. There's super minions pushing along the top wave. They're onto the Nexus turret as Alliance pursue on towards SK, simply delaying them. That's one Nexus turret down. Alliance will follow on through. They've got a minion wave going on towards the inhibitor. They're going to get the damage down towards it. Svenskeren got out, charmed out there. Wickd pouncing on towards him, pulverized to the ground and mashed up under the feet of Froggen as the inhibitor drops the final one. Nexus turret number 2 will fall. Freddy trying to catch on towards them, and the Nexus is exposed. Alliance will take game 1 from SK Gaming, but by God, they have to fight hard for it.
After a 56-minute epic, Alliance turned the game around and punished SK. SK did not make many mistakes, but the few they did were massive. The few they did, Alliance completely punished, took control of the game. And Tabzz went unkilled. 10, 0, and 8. His team had 21 kills. He was involved in 18 of them. When Alliance picked the fights, on their terms, they did fairly well. But every time they were grouped up against SK, SK outplayed them for a very, very, very long period of time.
We knew they were going to be long games. They knew they were going to be close games. 56.5 minutes, that one. SK, that's going to hurt. They were a long way in the lead for a long time. The 5K lead for a very, very long time throughout that game. They had 2 inhibitors exposed very early on, obviously through 30-minute mark. Freddy just couldn't get that one extra step closer.
The thing that I feel when you look, if you step back and you think about the game, Alliance were the favorites again. You know, we look at them on paper, we're expecting them to be the victors in the series. But SK came out of the laning phase ahead. They held Alliance strategically. Yes, their team comp was stronger in fights, which led to them winning those fights, but for the most part, they did a fantastic job during the game. It was individual positional mistakes that cost them. Whenever the team was like, oh, we can split and do a pincer move. No. That's exactly what Alliance wants you to do. They want small skirmishes so that they can single you out. And Alliance, I think if they clear their heads, look back over the game and think about the mistakes they made, they can correct them for game 2.
Well, 21 kills overall for Alliance. 18 of those involved Froggen. 18 of those involved Tabzz. We talked about how they're going to catch on to people. They will pick them off. And that's all they could do. That's what it worked well. SK kept getting caught.
You know what's scary to think? When we contrast the players and you look at how Froggen picked up those kills, how he just instantly flashed Spirit Rush Charmed and got 2 or 3 of those kills in the mid to late game, there's nothing you can really do to prevent that, right? That is just player skill, that is just player ability. If he's on a champion that can do that, you know Froggen will. So in order to prevent that, you cannot even present those opportunities. You have to have a flawless game. SK did not have a flawless game that allowed Alliance to get back into it.
So one thing coming into the next match, let's have a look at what they could potentially pick and ban. For me, Braum was a really big thorn in their side, blocking a lot of their attacks.
It was, and if nRated had maybe been a little less stingy with his ultimate, I think it actually could have even turned some more fights in SK's favor. I don't know about the RE pick. I don't know if that's going to be ban-worthy. We've seen Nyph play Braum, I think, 4 times during the summer split. He has got experience. They can take that one away. The bigger question for me is, do Alliance still want to first pick the cow? Because I don't really think it had that much of an impact. Yes, in the late game he became a front line and it was tanky, but I'm not entirely sold in the early to mid game. It didn't do a whole lot to help Alliance's cause.
Well, that's what we have to say. It was an epic game to start with. Of course, this is a best of 5. Many more games to go. For now, though, we are going to go over to Shocks and Company for the recap of Alliance's win.
Thank you very much, G-Man. The Fish Show has joined me here, and we also have the Super Hot Cruise Impaler with us, who will be our special guest here. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Still feeling good after that win from yesterday, I presume?
Yeah, we're still happy. 3-0, what can you say?
Absolutely. Well, we're here in our first game of the second best of 5 of the day. What's your thought on the comps? Pick-com coming in from Alliance, and very much comfort picks for SK Gaming.
Yeah, I think SK came in with that classic Siege composition that they love playing. Like infamous champions like Ziggs on Jesiz, he loves that champion. And Alliance came in with this heavy pick com with Ari, Tabzz on Twitch. It's all about just opening up the map and finding the picks to get the kills, then securing the objectives afterwards.
And we did also see Alliance in the start actually give up all the dragons to SK Gaming and focus on taking down towers instead. So as you said backstage, they could open up the map, they could get some deep wards in and start looking for the picks here. However, because Alliance were so bad in the first part of the game, they ended up giving like the first 5 dragons to SK Gaming. They lost a lot of towers as well, fell really, really far behind. And honestly, they shouldn't have been able to win this game.
So, what do you make of some of the picks that in that game going in further? The Alistar coming on the first pick actually also didn't do that much in the mid game.
No, so the Alistar pick for Wickd here completely backfired in the case that it almost looked like he just, I wouldn't even say he had like a terrible performance, but it looked like he wasn't comfortable on the Alistar pick at all. He tried a few engages where he missed his combo, and he always popped his ulti very, very late, so actually he was down to like 20% HP, then you pop your ult, which means once it runs out, it's very easy to finish him. And I don't agree with the fact he's building Trinity Force and Rod of Ages, because either you go Rod of Ages and you commit to the AP style, otherwise you go Trinity Force and go full tank after. The Rod of Ages with the Trinity Force just seemed a bit like a useless item in the sense their extra AP in that case doesn't do enough damage-wise for it to be worth it, and you want to get the early tank stats instead of just the pure HP.
So maybe a tricky build coming in, but Impaler, talk to me about the late game, because it did work for Alliance, but it was maybe more, as you say, SK has that calm, they can siege up, they can group up, and then all of a sudden they didn't group anymore.
Yeah, Alliance got these really amazing picks on the mid lane and around Baron. I think their superior vision control around Baron really baited SK in because they know they have to team fight against their comp instead of getting picked. So they tried to come in, Froggen charms, and they do like a ton of damage on one target, and that really allows them to contest things like Baron then.
It was just a bit strange to see how SK Gaming, as you just said, they stopped grouping and they stopped putting up wards. They not a single time in the game did they place a deep ward in the mid lane to try and spot Tabzz when he was going to run in on Twitch, pop his stealth, and then surprise someone in the mid lane. Not a single time did they place any deep wards to try and spot him out. And at the same time, they just, as you just said, they started splitting up. So when Froggen runs towards you and you have Tabzz in stealth and you have no idea he's coming, SK Gaming just kept dying left and right for 10-15 minutes. They were still 5,000-6,000 gold ahead. However, they kept dying. Alliance took control of the map, got control of the Baron. SK kept trying to contest the Baron even though they had no wards. And we always had Froggen, who just played an absolutely fantastic game. Like, he was the main reason Alliance got back in the game. But the fact that he could just stand there and land charms, set up a lot of poke, a lot of picks as well around this Baron, made it, once again, Alliance came back.
Yeah, and let's actually take a look at a very important Baron fight there in a replay where it was indeed Froggen. You can't really focus him down that much, and he just played phenomenally.
Yeah, so what we do see from the start here is obviously Froggen just sitting and waiting in his little bush here, which he loves so much. There's a pink ward to make sure SK Gaming has no vision of him or can't see where he is. And if you just look at the wards around the map at the moment, Alliance has full control of this Baron. There's no chance for SK Gaming to get in there without Alliance knowing they're coming or without taking any damage from Froggen because he's sitting in this prime position. Let's just roll the replay here and Payla, what do you see?
Okay, so Froggen's in the brush ready to pick. Aatrox is already dead due to fantastic pick in the mid lane before. You see the TP coming in now though. They've already secured the Baron, so now it's just cleanup crew. Nyph is kiting back, he barely dies, and they're just doing tons of damage to the backline now. Froggen's jumping around, they're trying to dive in on him, but they just can't kill him in time. So he cleans up Sven and does an amazing job of pretty much kiting back into this fight. I think CandyPanda tries to come from behind now, and Tabzz comes in and picks him on Twitch and stealth. So this is the AD carry versus AD carry, and this is an instant kill. When your AD carry dies in such a big important fight, it has a huge impact. So now it's pretty much up to Alliance to do some great bush juking around here. Froggen plays almost perfect, juking every bomb. And yeah, it's just a brilliant fight.
And again, the fact that there was full control around the Baron from Alliance, and then we also have to say Froggen just surviving there when Fred actually jumps him was of course a big deal. It meant that he could now kite around and they end up actually winning the fight. And from here on out, Alliance won every single team fight they played. They kept getting the picks they wanted. They got the Baron and ended up winning the game as well here. So SK Gaming, looking back at this game, they were so far ahead. They had a siege comp. They just didn't manage to use it. They kept splitting up. They didn't ward enough. Just talked about how there was no sidestone on Ilyas either to get some deep wards in, and ended up costing them the entire game.
Yeah, maybe some last thoughts about that, because if you would be in the position of SK, you lose it late, but you can get strength out of the fact that early game they were doing pretty well. They had that good objective control. They should go off that.
Yeah, I think they actually kind of baited the Alistar pick as well because they've got this really long distance comp. He can't get on the back line. So I think they're going to try and do a similar thing, but just make sure they can shut out the game early and prevent Alliance from making these picks.
Yeah, and on the side from Alliance, do you think they should go for a pick comp again or maybe fall back on, you know, that farming and then going late.
Well, we did see the idea for Alliance again with the pick comms, where they wanted to contest the third dragon that spawned, but ended up losing the team fight actually, and therefore they lost the dragon and fell so far behind. Up till that point, they were basically just trading towers for dragons, so in that case it worked for them fine enough in the early game. They started losing the team fights. If they're gonna go for a pick comm again, I'm not too sure. I don't expect an early Alistar pick for Wickd up in the top lane. He didn't look very comfortable on the champion. And also, can we expect Froggen to play this well in every single game? If he can, well, then Alliance looks to be going towards Worlds.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's an absolute pleasure seeing Froggen on a champion like Ahri, of course. Final thoughts, are we going 5 games again, guys? Is it that close?
I'm going to call 3-1 Alliance.
Oh, wow.
I'll take the 5 games. SK Gaming is going to win the next, and then we're going to get Alliance is going to win the next. SK Gaming will take 2 games in a row. We get the crazy epic best out of 5, and Alliance takes it.
Yeah, love to see that. Well, can Alliance keep up the momentum in game 2, or will SK Gaming even things up? We'll find out right after this short break.
Dark Light comes out of front, walks on towards Froggen, takes a lot of the damage down. Svenskeren back into himself the double. CandyPanda stealth his way down there. Froggen blocked up with the mines, still alive, gets the charm down. Freddy in trouble, in comes Chuck, that's the safeguard. Freddy will finally drop down. The inhibitor turret goes down. They're going to catch on towards him. Froggen still alive, jumping in the way. It's going to be nRated going down.